And when you knock us down, we're going to get up. And on the way up, we're going to bite a kneecap off.
Go ahead and say it, Ed. Go Tigers!
When I woke up this morning, I was feeling pretty dangerous.
You like that? You like that?
F it. Jamar's down there somewhere.
The New Orleans Saints select Marcus Davenport.
No!
Splash Brothers. Yeah.
It's playoff. Keep going, Brace.
The playoffs? Don't talk about playoffs.
If it doesn't fit, you must acquit.
What is up, guys? Dirty Boot Sports, and we are back with another interview today. First interview we've had in a while, it feels like.
Yeah.
Besides Fast Break, who came in the house, he don't even feel like an interview anymore.
No,
so he's just part of the crew.
That's right.
This time we have Hunt Palmer coming on, big LSU guy. Peyton's been wanting this one for a while. I know way back when we started it last year, he talked about this is one of the guys, him, Jordy Collada.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're just making our way through the LSU realm, I guess. And College World Series coming up. LSU is in that, and I know that's a huge thing around here. So great time to have you on, and let's talk some baseball.
Well,
so
Hunt, and I've never met Hunt, and I just listened to his shows. I listened to his pregame, postgame stuff on LSU football and stuff. I'm like, if I ever met Hunt, I think we could be good friends. Because I mean, he's LSU. He's golf.
Yeah.
He's from North Louisiana. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, there's just a lot of connections there. I just feel like
that's you. That's you.
That's all me right there.
Yeah. So yeah, just tell everybody who you are and what you do and how you've got to where you are.
Yeah, I mean, I appreciate y'all having me. First and foremost, I'm an LSU guy. I'm a North Louisiana guy, and I try to play golf. I don't know how well I play or how often I play, but I do try.
Hey, we have a college golfer here, so.
Oh, well, I wasn't that. I was a college drinker. But look, I've got a 1 to 3 radio show on ESPN Baton Rouge 5 days a week. I started that up almost 2 years ago now, which is wild to say. I've been involved in sports media since I graduated from LSU back in 2011. I started as a writer for an independent website called Bayou Bengals Insider.
Oh, yeah.
Did that for 4 years, and just kind of looked up and said, I probably need to do something that pays the bills a little better than this right here. So I got into oil and gas, and then I got into insurance for 6 years. And all the while I was doing all that, I was still going back and doing some radio. I was a guest on some of the shows on 104.5, and then got an opportunity to be a guest host with Jacob Hester when he launched his show down in Baton Rouge, and eventually kind of wound my way all the way back to sports, which is really all I'm qualified to do, if that. And so I've been at it for 2 years, and I think I've kind of found where I want to be. And I have no real, aspirations to go work for the New York Times or Washington Post. I kind of like it here in South Louisiana. So I'll be around LSU, and that's where I want to be. Yeah,
man, that sounds like the dream. It really does. Besides the insurance and oil and all that, we don't care about that.
That was not a dream, I can promise you. That was the opposite of a dream.
You got to do what you got to do. But yeah, I know Peyton has tons of questions. I'm gonna let him lead this interview a little bit more than me. I'll be sitting back and letting y'all go at it. So, Peyton, what are you starting at?
I guess we should start at Omaha. I don't know.
Gomaha? Isn't that what they're calling it?
Yeah, you got the T-shirt yet, Hunt? But no,
I don't. But and look, that's where we need to start, because you start trying to make me talk about football right now. We're about to play in the College World Series. I'll wring your neck virtually. So let's talk some.
What about basketball?
Not right now.
Not right now. Hey, look, Hunt
June.
disappointed me this year because I listened to every one of Hoops with Hunt, and I did not get those this year very much. Did I?
Now look. I appreciate that very much. Now those teams were going to the tournament in the Sweet 16 and winning the SEC. Would you have listened to every Hoops with Hunt this year when they lost 13?
To the no. But I will say you did read a lot of my questions from Twitter, so I appreciate that.
I did do that. I did. No, there was. I did it without a sponsor last year. The last year of the Will Wade era. And just now with my show, which includes basketball segments and the responsibilities I've got over there, I just didn't think it was a great use of my time to go in there every day and cut a 25-minute podcast about a team that couldn't win a game. So we decided to steer
great
away
non-conference though. They were really good then.
Yeah. They were okay in the non-conference.
Yeah, speaking of Wake Forest, we played them in non-conference, but yeah. No, man, you look at Omaha right now, Hunt, and you're like, boy, there's a lot of really good teams this year, and I feel like we kind of got on the wrong side of the bracket. Which I mean, everybody's good. I mean, even you're on the other side,
if you make it this far, you're good.
Yeah, that's correct. That's right. I mean, and I know all the big talk is, do you really pitch Skeens game one? Do you save for Wake Forest? I'm not for that. I'm all about pitching Skeens game one. You don't want to take a chance of losing.
Yeah.
I mean, because once we lose, Hunt, I guess I'll ask you this. If we do lose, what if we lose, say, round 2 against Wake Forest? Do we have enough pitching to get us through that? Or does it need to be the second game? Or does it need to be round, I guess, 3 if we lose? That would be our better chance of going through.
Truth be told, like, honestly, the answer to that question is very likely not. One, you're going to tax a light bullpen pretty hard at that point. If you win on Saturday, lose on Monday, and then you got to come back and win Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday to get to the weekend and play in the championship series. And you're going to have to do most of that without Paul Skeens. Maybe he could come back on Thursday. I think likely he would. So it would be very unlikely, but it's still a baseball and they still got a good offense. So they could hit their way through it. I just, in that bracket with Wake Forest arms and with Tennessee's arms, having to beat those guys with limited arms yourself is unlikely. Wake Forest and Tennessee, alongside Florida, have the 3 deepest pitching staffs in college baseball, and they're all here, and 2 of them are in your bracket. So the honest answer is, if they lose one of the first 2 games, it doesn't look good at all. It is possible. They can do it, but you don't want to tempt fate.
What game 2? Am I wrong for thinking I'd rather have Hurd on the mound than Floyd? I mean, I'm getting a little worried. He hadn't pitched in over a week. If you don't pitch him in game 2, I mean, it'd be over a week since he's thrown it last.
Yeah, I mean, he may pitch in game 1 out of the bullpen. It's not out of the question. Look, Floyd was really good in a couple of his late outings. I think he was pretty average in the game on Sunday, but those solo homers aren't going to kill you, and certainly not in the ballpark in Omaha, because you're not going to give up as many of them. I think Floyd has kind of proven to be your guy, and Hurd's going to be a swing guy for you. He may come into the bullpen in a high leverage spot. He may need to start a game, whether it's a game to win the bracket or it's a game to keep your season alive. So I think at this point, Floyd's undefeated. He hasn't been dominant. He's not one of the best 2s up there, but he's good enough.
I agree with that. I agree. Well, how many pitchers can we go through until you start not really trusting them, guy? I feel like there's about 6 that we can trust.
And that would be enough. I mean, obviously Skeens, Floyd, Hurd. Feel good about Guidry, Ackenhausen, Cooper. And Herring is probably the other. So that'd be 7 there. If you need to eat some innings in an 8-run game, you can ask Blake Money to go do that. But outside of that, I just don't know if you're going to dip into the Sam Dutton, Christian Little pool. I think you're going to stop at about 7.
Please stop it, Little. Please don't. I got a group message. Some guys, we talked pretty much nothing about LSU baseball, and Little's name gets thrown around there just kind of to make fun every now and then after that last outing he had. Do you see Jay making any kind of tweaks that might surprise you, or making a sub that in the lineup maybe that, hey, we need a spark here? Is there anybody that you feel like that he could do that with? Because I know, look, I was obviously kind of young when in the 90s when Skip Bertman was. I remember watching it, but I don't remember all of it. And I was listening to somebody a little while back, and they was like, man, Skip always just had that knack to making that right tweak on a lineup, subbing a guy in, something like that. I was just wondering if maybe if Jay makes an adjustment, who would that be? Would it be Bear? I mean, would that be the guy that maybe you could go with?
So I think he's kind of got his guys. I mean, you could argue that Pearson was a little bit of a late sub to give you a bit of a spark.
That's true. Yeah.
He's found the barrel. He hit it hard all weekend in the Super. And so that's a guy. I mean, certainly Paxton Kling and Bear Jones are guys who are very talented, who you could go to if you needed them. I just don't know right now if you're going to put those guys into a high leverage spot. Jones has been really, really bad on breaking stuff, and the book's out on him. He'll have to go off this summer and kind of fix that and work on it in the fall as well. And he's kind of gone to the older players instead of Kling. So that opportunity obviously exists. I don't know if he'll catch Milazzo at a given point and let Travinsky DH. Then you have to take Beloso out of the lineup. So I think they've kind of find the guys that that they're going to go with, and it would surprise me a little bit if you saw somebody else in the starting lineup.
Yeah, I agree with that. I was just because I'm kind of interested in Friday to watch the games to see how the ball's flying out of that field. Like, I mean, we've gotten away with just hitting so many homers to get us through, and I know this ball field is not like the old one, but I feel like in the last couple of years you're starting to see more homers.
Yeah, last year it felt like it flew everywhere.
Yeah, and this year the ball seemed to be flying out of fields everywhere.
Yeah, so I did some stuff on that today on my show. In 2012 and 2013, there were 3 home runs in each of those College World Series total. That was an abomination. That was pathetic. That's not real baseball. It was hard to watch, and UCLA basically stole a national championship because of it. It has gotten better. The last 2 College World Series have each had 28 home runs in 15 and 16 games. So you're looking at almost 2 a game.
Yeah.
So nothing like what you mean. I think Wake hit 9 and they beat Alabama.
Yeah,
LSU hit 6 on Saturday. So you're not going to see that level of home run hitting, but the ball is going to fly out of the ballpark. They've juiced the ball, and these teams are really talented. So LSU has relied on the home run a little bit, but so is Tennessee, and so is Wake, and so is Stanford. So that's just the nature of this year of college baseball. And I do think there are going to be far more than 28 homers. I'd guess closer to 40 this year.
That seems like a good bet somewhere.
So we'll
I bet
see.
that's out.
Yeah.
No,
I'll go look for that on DraftKings.
Yeah, no doubt. Have you any names of the new pitching coach going on?
No, I haven't. Look, Alabama's interim head coach Jackson is a guy who is very highly thought of and did a good job with Alabama's pitchers this year. I don't know if he's going to be retained by the new head coach there that left Maryland to come to Tuscaloosa or not. But Jay will get a good pitching coach. He knows a lot of people. He's been in the business a long time, and LSU has a lot to sell and a lot to pay. So he'll get a good one.
Man, I tell you, I was thinking, I was like, I can't imagine, because last year, obviously, we didn't make it out of regionals. So Jay had all this time to work the transfer portal, work recruits, find his pitching coach you wanted. And man, now going to Omaha, you feel like I can only imagine. I mean, I know Jay's trying to prepare for all this, but then he knows all these portal guys are starting to go pick locations where they're going and things like that. And then, you have one of your own guys this week go into the portal, which I had a buddy text me. He's like, man, why would you do this week? And I was like, I mean, I get it though, because if he waits, say we make a run up in Omaha, he waits to do it after you get back. That's 2 more weeks you put yourself behind everybody else that's in the portal. So I get that, but it's just it feels like
maybe a situation you're talking about. Josh Stevenson.
Yeah.
I don't know if he would have traveled to Omaha. I know Kramer Robertson didn't in 2013, and no, he didn't in 2015? Yeah. So he did in 2015. And I don't know what the roster limitations are for that. Maybe he would have, maybe he wouldn't have, but I think there's a possibility that he may not have been on the travel roster.
I didn't know that. I didn't know that they didn't take everybody with them to Omaha. So okay, that's interesting. Well, yeah, that may be why he did it.
Yeah.
It does makes more sense.
His season's over.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Yeah, no doubt. Man, Jay, I'm sure you get to be around Jay a lot. He just seems like just a good dude that just loves baseball and just loves LSU even more, man.
I mean, he said it in the press conference a couple of weeks ago. He said, "This is my entire life." It's just he's a baseball guy, 110 miles an hour all the time. And if you think that preparing for Tennessee and Wake Forest and Stanford has slowed him down from pursuing guys in the transfer portal, I got news for you. That's certainly not the case. So he'll be all over it, and they'll pull in some really good players. I think LSU was first to that into the pool last year, really. I mean, Florida did a good job as well, but LSU was really making a lot of splashes in the transfer portal. And I think everybody's kind of caught up to that now. But there are really good players going in every day. I just saw Colby Shelton from Alabama, who hit 22 or 23 home runs this year as a freshman. It just jumped in the transfer portal. So I promise you, Jay will be working that I have no doubt about.
Well, speaking of that, because I don't know why, but I always do this, and I do this with football. Before the season's even over with, I'm already thinking about next year's roster or next year, who you're going to lose.
Yeah.
To me, it's just fun. I don't like that. I mean, other than your Cruz, your Skeens, I mean, probably Trey Morgan, obviously Dugas, and a few of the seniors. Is there any surprises that will leave, you think? Like, I mean, it's
you never know. I mean, of the lineup they put out there on Sunday, Travinsky can come back if he wants. Trey Morgan's gone. Gavin Dugas is gone. Jordan Thompson's gone.
Yeah.
Dylan Cruz is gone. Braden Jobear's gone. And then your DH is Beloso, and he'll be gone. So it's the majority of the guys you got out there. And that would sound like an awful situation for next year until you realize that, wait a second, they got Tommy White, and they've got Paxton Kling, and they've got Jared Jones, and they've got Brady Neal. They've got a ton of, I mean, Ethan Fry is going to be a great player at LSU, and they're going to be able to go into the transfer portal like they had the last couple of years. And in the last 2 years, they've gotten the National Freshman of the Year to transfer to LSU. So they'll be just fine.
Do you think Jobear's gone? I mean, it's just
I think he will leave. I don't know that, but my guess is that he won't be back.
Okay. Wow. That's not one that really even crossed my mind yet. What about the pitching staff? Hurd, Floyd.
Floyd and Skeens will be gone. Christian Little, I'm sure, will leave. He's draftable. As I start to run through, the rest of those guys have eligibility left. Cooper could go if he wanted to. Feels like a college pitcher to me.
Me too. It
gives me some Jared Poche vibes in that way, but I'm not sure what his decision will be. This is his third year of college baseball, so he could go, but it wouldn't surprise me if he came back.
Yeah. Speaking of Skeens, have you heard any type of rumors about his MLB situation? Are they going to try to use him as a two-way guy?
No, he'll be a pitcher.
Straight
and
up pitcher?
He'll be up quickly. He's not nearly as valuable as a catcher or a first baseman or a hitter as he is as a frontline starting pitcher. And now that there's no pitchers hitting, there's no value in him hitting at all.
Hey, so, there's Ohtani.
There is Ohtani. I don't know that Skeens is quite that good.
Yeah, I know. I've seen so many people say, well, he did this and this, so he might be the next Ohtani, which I think that's just what everyone wants.
Well, I mean, Jay said in press conferences leading up to the season that if he let Skeens hit every day, he'd hit 20 home runs. So I mean, he's a good hitter, but he could be an ace in the big leagues, and I think he'll be up in less than a year. Yeah,
I'm praying he does not go to the Nationals as a Braves fan, because I don't want to see that.
I'm gonna have to deal with Cruz in Pittsburgh as a Cubs fan.
Hey, there you go.
It's our cross to bear.
I heard Ben McDonough on Moscona's show the other day, and he's mentioned about Skeens possibly pitching 3 games in Omaha. Is that possible?
It's likely impossible for him to start 3 games like a normal start. Here's how the timeline works. He's going to pitch on Saturday. If LSU loses a game but gets to the end of the bracket, which is Thursday, he could start on a full Major League Baseball rest. He would have Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, 4 days of rest, and then could pitch on Thursday. So that would be a legitimate start. If he started Saturday and Thursday, then he might be able to give you 30 pitches in game 3 on Monday. That's the way he would be able to pitch 3 games. And that's the reason you have to put him out there in game 1, because you have to give yourself the opportunity to bring him back as quickly as you can. If you were to hold him until Monday's game, he cannot pitch again in the bracket. So because he can't pitch again on Thursday, which is Tuesday and Wednesday off. So you've got to go ahead and get him on the mound on Saturday. There's no discussion.
How long do you ride him out Saturday? I mean, do you just kind of play just as long as he can go?
there like they did Quinn Matthews on Monday for 156 pitches.
Jesus, yeah.
I would have no problem at all if Paul Skeens at 6'6", 240 pounds, and 22 years old threw 125 pitches on Saturday.
Yeah, yeah, I'm good with that. Yeah, no, I absolutely. And I starting to question his 6'6". I think he's bigger than that. I've been seeing pictures with him standing beside other people. I mean, he's making guys look like midgets, man. That dude is huge.
Brian Kelly looking for a D end.
Yeah.
I think Jay Johnson would spear Brian Kelly if he tried to grab him and make him play defensive end while he's headed
I'd like to see that fight.
The other thing, kind of not off topic, but coaches, with just being Brian Kelly and Jay Johnson, Scott Woodward, man, like the dude he gets credit, but I don't think he gets enough credit. Like it's amazing what he's done with that athletic program in the short time he's been down there.
Yeah.
And every hire, it feels like it's a hit. And I like the kind of people that he does hire. They all seem to have kind of the same mannerisms, in my opinion. Am I right on that?
I mean, I think they all have, very similar.
BK and Jay Johnson seem very similar to me.
Look, I mean, Kim Mulkey was a three-time national champ when she showed up. I mean, that's a whole different ball game. Brian Kelly winning as coach in the history of Notre Dame football is a big deal. And look, I'll be really honest with you. I'd never heard of Jay Johnson as of last May. I mean, I follow college baseball pretty closely, but it's pretty compacted into the SEC. I couldn't tell you right now who Washington State's head coach was. So I did, but he's maniacal about winning, and I think that's right there out of and he's an ethical dude, and he's a good guy. I don't know if they're all perfectly siller.
No, I just mean right.
All the hires look good to me.
Yeah. And McMahon, he's going to come through for us, right? That's the only one I'm nervous about.
So I'm pulling for him. I'm lucky when I do the pregame show for football for LSU. They send me a head coach of a different sport for every pregame show. And so I've gotten to interact with all of these folks, and I've gotten some time to spend with Matt McMahon, and I've had him on my show, and we're not buddies or anything. I'm going to lunch with him or text him, but I've gotten to meet him 4 or 5 times, and he's such a great guy, and he has won big previous to LSU. I'm giving him a full pass for last year because there's just no way you could put a roster together. But time to push off the dock now, so we'll see what happens this coming winter.
Yeah. I guess let's move on a little bit to football. We don't want to keep you here too long, but
gotcha.
New schedules came out today, including Oklahoma and Texas. How do you think that whole situation is going to go? And do you think they're going to regret it?
No, I don't think they'll regret it. I think we're moving towards 2 leagues. I don't see how the Big 12, Pac-12, and ACC can survive this. Because the Big 10 and SEC are going to lap them so significantly in terms of money with television and media rights deals that you just can't keep up. And so it's all about money. And the SEC and the Big 10 have all of it. So I think we're eventually moving towards something that looks closer to the NFL than college football of 20 years ago, where everybody kind of mattered, and you play. It's going to shrink down, and you're not going to play
Power 2 instead of the Power 5.
Right, and LSU's not going to play. They're not going to play South Alabama, and they're not going to play North Texas, and they're not going to play Louisiana Lafayette. I think they're going to play all Big 2 games, and that's the way that we're headed. I don't know how long it's going to take to get there, but we're on the way.
Did you agree with the keeping 8-game conference games instead of 9?
I did before they expanded the playoff, and now that you've expanded the playoff and losses don't hurt you as bad, I'm okay with 9, because we were in an era of college football, especially with the BCS, where the only thing that mattered was that you didn't lose. Beating Alabama wasn't any better than beating Tulane. Like, as long as you didn't lose, all that mattered was the number right of the dash. Yeah. So if LSU goes out there and goes through the SEC, and West Virginia goes through the Big East, and LSU's got more losses, West Virginia was going to go to the national championship game, but they lost one more game, and then it mattered. So At that point, I'm all for playing the worst teams you can play. Line me up with all these non-conference games. Give me more Vanderbilt. I'll take Missouri all day long. Like, that's the way I felt about college football scheduling forever. You expand the playoff and you allow teams to lose. Well, now I'm okay if Oklahoma comes to Tiger Stadium and then the next week I've got to go to Gainesville. Like, that's what the NFL does, and they can lose. And as long as you're good and you keep your head above water, they'll put you in and give you a chance to make the playoffs. So I'm okay with 9 and getting rid of the games that just don't matter.
Yeah.
I agree. Yeah.
Go to some golf talk. I know you want to mention something there about the new news, huh?
Yeah. Do you have any input on the new news of the PGA DP?
I don't know what the new news is.
Nobody does.
They're going to have to tell me what it is. I have maintained pretty much, stayed on the straight and narrow with this as far as the live thing goes. I don't begrudge guys for taking $200 million. But the fact of the matter is that for me, the golf consumer, splitting golf in half is bad.
Bad. Thank you.
And so if you split the NBA in half, that's bad. If you split the NFL in half, that's bad. You split the sport in half, that's bad. And I need it to get put back together. And so if that's the track we're on, that's a positive thing. Now, there are some people that I hold bigger grudges against than others. I'm not happy with Phil, and I think Greg Norman is just detestable in every way. And I'm thrilled that he's being cut right out because his ego can't fit anywhere. So I'd like to sit down and be like, hey, man, you know who could also offer people $200 million to play golf and get them to do it? My 18-month-old who drools all over the bed every morning. Like, that is not an accomplishment by you, boss. And he's been trying to do this for 40 years, splitting the tour in half. And any credit that he gets makes me sick. But I just want the sport to get put back together again. I feel for the guys who turned down the money and may have those guys who took it come back. That sucks. But as long as golf gets put back together again, I'll live with it.
I agree. And I know they're trying to push the team thing. Like, I've tried to watch some of the live things. It's just not appealing to me. The team
I will
things,
never watch a single shot ever on principle. I've never seen a shot. That's never going to happen.
I had to just because I was curious. So I couldn't stand it. I had to just watch a little bit. It's terrible, by the way. It's bad. So don't. You're not missing anything. I can promise you. And the team stuff is more confusing because it's just it's not good. And we don't want to watch a guy that's 8 over just because he can make a par here. He's going to help his team. That I could care less. He's 8 over. But I mean, there's a reason why he's playing bad. But yeah, I'm like you. I'm so glad that we can figure out something to get everybody to play back together, because that's why I sit on the recliner and watch golf. I want to watch the greatest in the world compete against each other, not be separated. And it drives me nuts on that. But yeah, I hopefully it'll work its way out somehow. I don't think I'm like you. I don't think nobody knows what's going on. Not even the players, it sounds like. But maybe somehow this will all get back to normal again, whatever normal is.
Yeah, and before we let you go, let's get a quick prediction. College World Series predictions. I guess how do we do it? Final 4, and then your championship matchup in the winner.
Yeah, I like that.
How about that?
Look, why not? I'll say LSU gets out of their bracket. I would not be surprised if any of the 4 teams won LSU's bracket. I'm having a hard time talking myself out of Florida on the other side. I just think that they are better than TCU and Virginia and Oral Roberts. So I think on LSU's side, I think it'll be LSU and Tennessee at the end. Okay, and I'll take LSU.
No Wake Forest.
No, I think Wake's great, but the 1 seed hadn't won in a long time, and it happens every year that they generally get upended. I think they're very, very good, and Rhett Lauder is going to be awesome to watch on Saturday afternoon. But I'll take Tennessee and LSU to advance, and I'll take Florida and Virginia on that side. I'll take Florida to advance, and I'll take the Tigers. Why not?
Let's go.
There you go. 17? Or was that 2017?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes.
Rematch. Redemption time, huh?
I would like that very, very much. We were just one game away from getting Lang up there in game 3 and getting Maneri a second one, but it just didn't quite happen.
I remember that. Yep. All right. Well, we appreciate it. This was fun. Go Tigers, man. Hopefully they pull it out.
Omaha.
For sure. And look, I
Omaha.
appreciate y'all having me on. I always enjoy talking a little baseball. So best of luck to you guys.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
All
Huh?
right. We appreciate it.
Y'all be well.
This ain't how it's supposed to be. It should be just you and me.